In my opinion, one of the best performances in a long time. But yet again, only 1 point. So welcome back, new and returning viewers, to the 5th episode of Talking Timbers. And today we're reviewing the game that happened last night at Providence Park between the Portland Timbers and Chicago Fire. So last night, Chicago went to Providence Park, top of the Supporters' Shield and the in-form team in the MLS. But they met a very depleted but determined Portland Timbers side. So the Timbers last night were missing many key first team players, whether that be due to injury or international duty. But the whole squad pulled together really and performed outstanding in my opinion. They defended very well, limited Chicago to very few chances, created so many chances of their own. However, it's the final result that matters, and that was 2-2 in the end. So the Timbers broke the deadlock on the 23rd minute via an Addy penalty. But the move started with Diego Valeri played a beautiful crossfield ball to Espria, who leaped like an absolute salmon to knock it down to Addy, who played a touchback to Blanco, but Juninho, the Chicago midfielder who was in the way, slipped and then handballed it. Now in my opinion it was definitely a handball, although unintentional. It blatantly stopped the pass's route to Blanco, who was going to have a shot. Now it was interesting to see that Valeri wasn't taking the penalty. Obviously he missed that last one against Sporting KC, and Addy duly stepped up to the plate. Did very well. He's a very calm, composed guy, especially from the PK spot, and slotted it down the middle, fooled the keeper, 1-0 Timbers. Now moving on to the Chicago equaliser. It came in the 34th minute and was completely against the run of play. On the wing, Alvarez was given enough time and space to find a beautiful whipping cross, which Nikolic looked like he was going to tap in near post, but he didn't, and kind of fooled Gleeson. He made one movement one way, couldn't really reach it, and it went in the bottom corner. So when breaking this goal down, I think there's 3 parts to it which we could have prevented. The ball initially, I think not enough pressure was applied. I think it was Nagbe and Valeri. I don't think they pressed the ball enough. I think you see Valeri kind of walking towards it when he should be, going full on in there, trying to stop the cross, because it was pretty clear that Alvarez was going to put the ball into the box. Secondly, you could have a look at Gleeson and say, it's on your 6-yard box, maybe you should come and at least close the angle down. Meet the ball when I think it was Nikolic was looking like he was going to have a touch on it. Come out and meet it, Schmeichel-esque, but he didn't. He decided to stay on his line, kind of got caught in 2 minds, and at the end of the day, them ones are probably one of the hardest sort of shots or crosses for a goalkeeper to handle, and I wasn't surprised that it did go in. It was a very good cross/goal, so I personally wouldn't blame Gleeson for that one. But the last thing I have to say about this goal is offside. It wasn't offside, I'm not saying it is, but Valentin didn't step up with the rest of the defence. Now you see Olam, he's looking across the line of the defence and he knows that he's playing offside, so is Miller and so is Vitas. But then I think you have Valentin on the right hand side. He didn't step up with the rest of the defence. If he had stepped up with Olam, then he would have been blatantly offside. Why Olam didn't really go with him, which is poor from him. You should always play to the whistle at the end of the day. These mistakes always happen, like someone generally in a game at least gives one chance because someone didn't step up with the defence. I don't think you can solely blame Valentin. Someone in the defence has to take leadership. Get the boys to step up, but when you watch it back, you can see Valentin, he was just a little bit behind, and you give a guy like Nikolic the chance to run in the box, he will cause confusion like he did for Gleeson. It was 1-1. Then moving on into the second half, in the 60th minute, again against the run of play, Chicago took the lead. So Akam found space in behind Zemansky, great first touch, drove towards the defence, played it out wide to Alvarez, who whipped it into the box, a low hard cross, got past a few defenders, dropped to Vincent, the surprising left back had got forward, and then put it into the top corner, in off the crossbar. So you can see that Akam found space behind the midfield, but he's a very tricky player and he was always going to find a little bit of space in this game. He was nulled for most of it. He didn't really play a big part. He found space that one time, played it out wide to Alvarez, and when he put the ball into the box, now this is where I think we should have done better. So you see Roy Miller, as the ball comes across the box, have a kind of poke at it to try and get it away. Now, I wouldn't have expected him to clear it, but then you see Olam behind him. So you see Olam kind of tries a little flick, a side flick at the ball to try and clear it. Now that was really poor defensively to see from him. As an experienced MLS defender, you should know, as an experienced defender anyway, move your feet, get into a good position, side on, to face the ball, and then to clear it possibly with the inside of your foot or the laces or whatever, just to get it away from the goal. Instead, he tried to flick it. luckily enough for them, went it straight into the path of Vincent, who then finished pretty well. And, nothing Gleason could really do. So the Timbers showed really good fight, determination and resilience after Chicago took the lead. They didn't really hide. They took the game to them, and after some great play on the right hand side, the ball fell to Valeri, who played a beautiful disguise pass through to Blanco, who finished beautifully into the bottom left hand corner. It was a fantastic strike from a brilliant player. So that was me analysing the goals of the game. I'll talk a little bit about the key moments, the chances and the substitutions a little bit later, but I just want to touch upon the statistics of the game. I mean, this really shows how Portland dominated it. So Portland dominated possession with 40% of it going to them. They dominated shots in total with 24 to Portland and 6 to the Chicago Fire. 9 of them shots for the Timbers being on target and only 3 on target for the Fire. So these statistics really show how we put the game to Chicago. They're the top team in the MLS at the moment, in fine form, and in my opinion we should have beat them. I mean, it was a game that we absolutely dominated. We had chances, but it wasn't meant to be. I think the boys put in a fantastic shift on a team that is on its back legs at the minute with injuries and international players away. But I think a lot of credit has to go towards Caleb Porter. I mean, they got the tactics spot on in my opinion. We pressed them very well in that first half and in the second half for most of it. We limited them to chances. They didn't have much space in the midfield and attack. We isolated Nikolic, who has been a real big goal threat for Chicago this year, and we really nullified him, so that was very good to see. I think both offensively and defensively we played tremendous this game. I mean, the attack, we're always pressing, we're always looking to get forward and attack, play, nice through balls. It was really nice to see. It was encouraging, entertaining football. And defensively, we limited them to barely any chances. I mean, in the Sporting Kansas City game, they had quite a few good chances, whereas today, literally none. I mean, there was no clear goal-scoring opportunities other than the 2 that they really had, although that cross really wasn't, I don't know, it's hard to say. I just think we defended pretty well for the majority of the game. And I think a lot of credit has to go to Valentin as well. He come in that right-hand position and looked so good. I thought defensively he was fantastic. He was, athletically looked up to scratch. And yeah, well played for him. And when Powell, after this 2-week break, comes back, I wouldn't be surprised, if Valentin keeps his place. I personally would keep him right back. I think he's proved last night that he's a fantastic asset to the team. He's got good technical ability, he's physically strong, and he reads the game really well. So I really want to see Valentin hold his place, as well as Vitas on the other side. Now, the centre-back positions I'm not really sure on, with Luis Mabiala coming into the team. Possibly he'll get the start in 2 weeks' time, maybe, with some players coming back hopefully from injury. It will be really interesting to see how Caleb Porter chooses his defensive lineup. So I talked about how many chances we created in this game, and I'll touch upon them now. I mean, they began in the first minute when a corner came in, came to the 6-yard box. Addy got up and headed it just over the bar. I think he'll be disappointed with that effort. He at least wanted to try and get it on target to make the keeper have a save. Then in the 17th minute, after some beautiful hold-up play by Fernando Addy, who I think did it all game tremendously, he played it back to Valeri, who chipped it over to Blanco, who whipped it into the box for Addy again on the 6-yard box to have another chance, but it just went over again. Then the last real chance of the first half came courtesy of Diego Valeri. Would have been a goal of the season possible contender. Chested it up, set himself for his own bicycle kick, which was just tremendous to watch, and it just missed the goal by a few feet. I mean, that would have been an unreal goal and would have just summed up what a talent he is. We then continued the dominance over into the second half, where we created even more chances. In the 56th minute, Addy had a one-on-one chance, but it kind of got caught under his feet. He didn't really take it early enough. He had a great chance to strike it, took an extra touch, defender got back to him, keeper saved, narrowed the angle down. I think he should have really done better, especially a striker of his calibre. On the 65th minute, when Chicago were leading, they made a substitution to bring an attacking player off and a defender on to go 5 at the back. Surprisingly though, we still managed to penetrate them and make chances, which was very good to see, that we were able to break down this good Chicago defence. And the manager has been doing this all season to try and see out wins, but I think we did very well. And then obviously proved that by Blanco then scoring minutes later. So after our goal, the game kind of died down a little bit, and then in the 83rd minute, I'm just going to say this, Chicago got their first corner in the 83rd minute. And then a couple of minutes later, Farfan and Arboleda were brought on as a bit of a, I think Vitas come off because he had a minor little injury, so hopefully that's nothing too serious. He's got a 2-week break to kind of nurse it, so he should be fit when we return. But Farfan and Arboleda did very good when they come on. I think they had a really good positive effect down the left-hand side. Farfan got forward, got in with play, and Arboleda had chances. I mean, he got the ball on multiple occasions, drived at the defence, and it just got caught under his feet. So Arboleda came into the game as a bit of a left winger, although he's a right winger. And in my opinion, we should have had Asprilla on the left-hand side and Arboleda on the right. Now, as you watch the game, you see that Arboleda didn't want to use his left foot at all. Even when in one-on-one situations, he constantly cut in and tries to use his right, and still the ball got stuck underneath his foot or his feet quite a few times, and it was missed chances that could have been something. And I think with Asprilla playing on the left, possibly cutting in on his right or going down the left, which I think we all know he can do. He's certainly got a good shot on him. I think he could have done that better than Arboleda did. But take nothing away from Arboleda, he come on and definitely did have a good impact on the game. Then lastly, in the 91st or so minute, Farfan put a beautiful deep cross into the box, and Addy, I think blatantly pushed his man, headed it in. It was a bit of a late call by the referee, but when I watched it live, I was thinking that was definitely a push. I could see it as the ball was coming up through the air. He definitely pushed his defender. Very disappointing, because I think he's a tall man anyway. If you're going to push someone, don't push him so blatant. It was so obvious. He put two hands on the defender's back and gave him a big push. But I mean, if you're going to give him a nudge, maybe just lean your arm up against him and give him one. Maybe try and use him as leverage, as a lot of strikers do. And it never gets called. If you watch the Premier League, a lot of goals are scored where strikers are using defender as a bit of leverage, but not fully pushing them, and the referee doesn't give anything. So Addy, being the big man that he is, I would have expected better. But quite disappointing. And I think it's hard to say. It's really disappointing that he didn't make better of that chance, because I think it was a really good one. Credit to Farfan for putting in such a great ball. Now, I just want to take us back to the statistics. And now you look at how many offsides we had. We had 7 and they had 2. Now, we actually created a lot of good chances, but then the flag went up and we were called offside. Arboleda had a one-on-one chance, I think Addy a couple of times. It was quite bad to see and disappointing, but then when you look at the plays and the replays during the live game, it was good defending from Chicago. Their defensive line all stepped up together and played the offside trap in a way for the Portland strikers. And it was very good defending, and that might be why they don't concede a lot of goals and why they are top of the Supporters' Shield and top of their conference. So before the end of this video, I just kind of wanted to touch on a couple of things that I said in the match preview. So the starting lineup that I named in that preview video ended up being the starting lineup that Caleb Porter chose. Now, I think I said in the video it was a bit of a no-brainer. I think that was always going to be the starting lineup due to the injuries and players away on international duty. But it was quite interesting to see. And my score prediction in that video was a 2-1 win for the Timbers. I got fairly close. I went for the 2 goals for the Timbers. We got the 2. I didn't think we would concede 2, especially at home where we're usually a bit of a force. But again, chances that away teams or the teams against us, our opponents, just little chances they always seem to be converting at the minute. The luck isn't really going our way. Hopefully after this 2-week break, luck will begin to go our way and we'll start to see more games out to get more points. We're all sick and tired of these draws, so hopefully we'll start getting wins soon. Lastly, I'll also touch upon the absolute palaver I had of watching this game. So I'd set my alarm for 3:30 AM as, 8-hour time difference being me living here in England. But I slept through the alarm, and this isn't the first time that I've done this. And I woke up at about 5 AM and I saw on my phone the updates. It was 2-2. It was about the 75th minute. So I quickly got out my laptop, watched the last 10 minutes live. But I was so annoyed. I was thinking, how am I supposed to do a post-match review if I hadn't actually watched the game? So I sat there and I was so mad. I was like, I need a way to watch the games, on demand and watch them live, not on crappy streams. So then I thought, f it, I'm just going to buy MLS Live. So I ended up doing that. I bought it last night, slept really excited knowing in the morning when I woke up about 10 AM, I'd be able to watch the game all back, 2 hours of it on Root Sports, and it was, really interesting to watch and kind of analyse the game and be able to rewind and all that sort of stuff. So MLS Live, great buy, especially from the UK. And if you're UK fans, highly recommend it already. But yeah, that's all that I really have to say, guys. Again, thank you for all your support, comments recently. I think we're almost at 50 subscribers on the channel, which is unbelievable in just over a week. All the feedback I've been getting on Reddit, Twitter, in the comments, all this sort of stuff has been fantastic to read, so thank you all for that. If you've enjoyed this video, do leave it a like. I'll hopefully be able to get it out tonight, being Thursday, as Friday afternoon I'm in London, a music festival event. So either if I don't get it up tonight, I'll be able to get it up tomorrow morning for you guys to watch. And apologies for this, the preview video being put up so late. I know that it was only put up a couple of hours before the actual game. Now that was because I had some rendering issues, but in future times I'm going to try and get the preview videos out at least a day before the actual match, so any of you Timbers fans can keep up to date with what's been going on at the club and the injuries, the available players and all that sort of stuff. So let me know in the comment section below or on Twitter or Reddit if you enjoyed the video and what you thought of the performance. Was it 1 point gained or 2 points dropped? Just let me know whatever you think. Also subscribe to keep updated with all the Portland Timbers content that I release. Now I won't make a video for a couple of days, take a little break because I've been pumping them out pretty frequently recently, and the MLS anyway has got a 2-week break because of the Gold Cup, so it gives me a little time off. But I've also got some videos planned, how I became to be a Timbers fan and little things like that, and maybe do a video on VAR and how they're implementing that in the MLS come August. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.